There goes Itoje, and he's in!
Hello and welcome back to GDD Coaching Analysis. France's Grand Slam hopes were dashed by a resurgent England team eager to bounce back from defeats to Scotland and Wales. So what went wrong for France, and how did England steal the win? Now, just before we dive in, if you're new here, please do subscribe to the channel, and as always, please do hit the like button and leave me a comment below, as it really is what helps the channel grow. Let's get into it. The game couldn't have started any better for France, with a lovely chip by Thomas and a predictably wonderful finish by the magician Dupont, giving France the first points of the game. The root of that try goes back to the first kick-off, and there's some really cool details in here. First of all, notice that France got the bulk of their forwards on the open side of the ruck, and also that Cretin is on the left and Olivon is on the right side. And the reason for that is that when the ball is kicked, they have Olivon to clear the ruck, and strong ball carriers can immediately get into position. A key detail of the French attack is the reload patterns. And here we've got Olivon reloading to the right touchline, while the other forwards work to the open, and Cretin is slowly working his way to the left touchline as the 1-3-3-1 becomes more apparent. The next key detail is that individuals like Fickou are given freedom to find opportunities, and here he spotted a disconnect between Billy Vunipola and Mark Wilson, so he steps inside using Dupont as a subtle screen and is just caught by Sinclair. As I mentioned a moment ago, the reload patterns are important to the way the France attack. Rather than folding the corner, the forwards here simply drop back, giving a two-sided attack and indeed saving energy. And this is one of my favourite plays. A lovely run-around play which commits 4 England defenders and enables Dupont to get Olivon running at pace at George Ford, which is one of the reasons he's on the edge. Sensing an opportunity, Jalibert asks for the ball, using the forwards pod as a screen, but the England press spooks Fickou back inside. But the beauty of a two-sided attack is they can go again quickly, this time using the width to stretch the English defence, and it takes a lovely tackle from Slade to halt the attack. Now France focus on splitting the defence again, and as before, they reload from the ruck and the blind side, this time using the hands of Cretin and Vakatawa to give Thomas the opportunity to break. And there's nothing more certain in World Rugby than the fact that Dupont knows exactly where to be at exactly the right time, and he nails the finish, putting France ahead. Brigham weren't long before they capitalised on some major flaws in the French defence. In the build-up to Anthony Watson's try, take note of the French defenders on the blind side of the ruck. Although England are folding the corner, which is very reflective of the England style of attack, 5 French defenders are on the blind side against only Max Malins, and that, combined with a loaded centre-field attack from England, helps Slade make this lovely break. And Maro Itoje plays this beautifully, holding his feet, drawing the defence forwards, and then using an inside pass which is really hard to read. Now it's over to Slade, who reads turn hips like a book and slices through the defence, taking England to within 1 metre of the line. The final phase just needs Ford to take and give, knowing that the scrambling French defence were going to shoot off the line, and Watson couldn't have asked for an easier finish. Much of the remainder of the game can be summed up by moments like this, with England's defence forcing errors and incredibly efficient and effective kicking, pinning France back in their own half, where they then had to start from scratch with their exit strategy. And so often, France were their own worst enemy. Although they only conceded 8 penalties to England's 12, England scored 16 points from penalties compared to 13 for France. When France did get into good field positions, uncharacteristic errors coupled with yet more clever kicking kept the scoreboard silent for prolonged periods, and importantly, kept the French forwards having to turn and work a field again, something that really does wear players down. And the impact of that is that usually solid areas become areas of opportunity, and from a seemingly routine box kick exit, Anthony Watson was able to shrug off the French defence with surprising ease. When we see the French chase, there's no wonder. A stacked rather than a flat chase line give Watson plenty of space to run into. Helped by a sneaky block, he's able to chip through, putting normal humans under huge pressure. But Jalibert deals with this beautifully, feeding Penaud for the clear. But all too often, these kicks simply invited England to attack, which they did with pace and vigour, and just moments later, more indiscipline led to more points for England. In total, France kicked the ball on 30 occasions compared to 29 for England, but it's not the number that matters, and more the quality. But even usually effective tactical kicks were dealt with ease, and I was really impressed with how Ben Youngs performed throughout the match, nailing this kick up the field, putting France under pressure again. They say you make your own luck, but the bounce of a ball can be a cruel thing, and what looked like being another Dupont and Jalibert masterclass was cruelly denied by the Twickenham turf and outrageously good defence from Henry Slade. But you can't keep a good team down for long, and the combination of a Vakatawa tackle and a Penaud jackal gave France the perfect attacking position. A planned overthrow and the creme de la creme of handling skills and running lines make this my favourite try of the Six Nations so far. Let's break it down. France start with a 7-man line-out, and with Thomas, Jalibert and Fickou stood together. And with a lunge into the field, Marshall launches the ball over the back pod, which takes England's defence away from the hinge. So without a tail gunner to worry about, Thomas' job is to hold Cowan-Dickie and Tom Curry, while Fickou attacks the outside shoulder of Cowan-Dickie and also turns forward shoulders inwards, and then indeed sits him on his heels. Next is a blocker play. Vakatawa targets inside as Slade, while Dupont runs a 45-degree angle to engage Ford and Farrell, and Jalibert runs hard on an arc on the outside, and he's going to target the space in the 13 channel. Because Dupont is such a threat, and Vakatawa is running hard, Ford, Farrell and Slade all keep their heads in a position where they can use their peripheral vision to see both threats at the same time. But a perfectly timed line for Vakatawa and pass from Dupont is virtually impossible to defend. And with Jalibert in space, he makes a fake and rugby league style floated pass look effortless. With just over a half left to play, for me there were two more pivotal moments in the game. The first one starts with a typically Thomas break down the touchline, showing pace that perhaps only Rhys Ahmed can match. Lovely hands by Cyril Bay, and Dupont put Aldrit into space, powering France into the 22, followed by an incredible show of strength from the pocket rocket Dupont. But this very cheeky leg hold from Vakatawa and jackal from Tom Curry halted the French attack, keeping the scores close at half-time. The final hugely significant moment came a little over 5 minutes remaining, where Will Stewart cunningly trapped Dorian Aldegheri in the ruck, prompting Andrew Brace toward a penalty that saw England targeted line-out just 8 metres from the line. A 7-man line-out and a well-formed maul just needed the extra weight of Owen Farrell to get it moving, and with penalty advantage, Jamie George breaks away. Although France seemed to have it covered and are prepared for the short game, this cheeky clean-out from Billy Vunipola, which turns Aldrit back into the ruck, clears just enough of a path for Itoje to quickly power through. And that try proved to be the winning score. A conversion from Owen Farrell followed, taking the scores at 23 points to 20 and ending France's Grand Slam dream. I really hope you enjoyed that video. I'd love if you could leave me a comment down below, and please do hit the like button. That really does help the channel grow. And if you're a coach, a player or an analyst, you might like to check out my Patreon. Check down in the description below for the link, and on there you'll find access to my Coach Logic page, which has got a number of webinars and indeed a load of coaching resources. Until next time.